Hello my beautiful friends and welcome back to my channel. So friends, I'm sure you guys are all aware that about 5 months ago I filmed a video called Shaving Down There, Tips and Tricks, No Bumps or Cuts, something like that, and my video actually ended up going viral, which is absolutely insane. When I filmed that video I genuinely thought maybe 10,000 people might watch it. Never in a million years did I think millions of people would end up seeing that video. So basically today I'm just going to be sitting down and answering any of the reoccurring questions that kept coming up under my Shaving Down There video. I also have some more tips and tricks for you guys that I'm going to talk about after I answer your questions. So yes, before I dive right on into the video, please don't forget to subscribe down below if you haven't already. Smash a big thumbs up and hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I upload. I want to keep this as quick and snappy as I possibly can, so let's just dive right on into the video. So the first thing I just want to address is the fact that in my Shaving Down There video a lot of you guys got frustrated and angry and annoyed with me that I kept referring to it as my vagina instead of my vulva and I wasn't using the correct terminology. I am very aware that it's called my vulva. The only reason I was referring to it as my vagina is because most people, that's what they associate it with. Like, I've never heard anyone going around calling it my vulva. Like, that's not what people refer to it as, so that's the only reason I was calling it my vagina and not my vulva. And in this video again, I'm probably going to refer to it as my vagina instead of my vulva, just because that's what most people associate it with, okay? I am aware it's my vulva, but yes. Another thing I just want to say is I am in no way telling you need to remove your hair down there. It is completely optional. So many people remove the hair, so many people don't remove the hair. It's a complete personal choice. Don't feel like you ever have to do anything. Me, myself personally, I just don't like hair on my body, and that's just the way I am. I know a lot of people are like me, but a lot of people also aren't like me. So this is just for anybody who, you know, wants to remove the hair down there but doesn't know the best way to go about it, and these are just some tips and tricks. And I'll also leave my Shaving Down There video linked below if any of you guys haven't watched it. So there I basically go through the whole routine of what I do to shave my vagina and what I have found that works the absolute best. And so many comments under the video said that they have never used a method or a technique that worked as well as the one I talked about in my video. So yes, I just want to clear the air before we dive in. A lot of you guys are also talking about, you know, why bother shaving when you can just wax or get laser hair removal. I have a really low pain tolerance and I don't think I ever could get waxing done just because it is very painful, you know, so a lot of people might be in the same boat as me. And also laser hair removal is very expensive. Like, a lot of people wouldn't have the money to spend on laser hair removal. Even me, like, you know, I just think laser hair removal is very, very expensive. So that's why a lot of people do stick with shaving. So, you know, don't judge people for the personal choices. Like, we can all do what we want, you know, there's waxing, laser hair removal, shaving, but for a lot of us shaving is just the easiest. So yeah, so for any of you guys who didn't see my Shaving Down There video, basically what I use to shave with is olive oil, and I absolutely swear by it. I've never had irritation, bumps, cuts, anything since using olive oil and the method I actually shave with. So the most popular question was, can you use coconut oil? Yes, you can use coconut oil. I do know some people who use coconut oil instead of olive oil, but me personally, I did try coconut oil once and I didn't get as good a result I get when I use the olive oil. So from my personal experience, I would say olive oil is much better than coconut oil, but coconut oil is completely safe and fine to use as well if you've, like, you know, easier access to the coconut oil. But I do think that olive oil does a better job, so, you know, just keep that in mind. So the next question that kept coming up again and again and again was, can you use olive oil to shave other parts of your body? Yes, you can. I use olive oil to shave absolutely everywhere on my body because it doesn't irritate my skin like shaving gel or conditioner a lot of girls would use to shave with as well. You know, the olive oil just doesn't irritate my body, and I also get a very smooth, clean shave with the olive oil. So yes, it's perfectly safe to use on any and every body part you like. So the next question that was asked a lot was, how can I discreetly bring it into the bathroom without my mum noticing? So many of you guys were like, you know, how do I get it from the bottle in the kitchen into the bathroom? How do I store it in the bathroom? You know, all these types of questions. And what I actually use to store my olive oil in is this little bad boy. I've got a hair on my nose, I've got a fluff. So yes, I just use this little bottle. As you can see, it's super small and tiny and so convenient for traveling as well. And I actually bought these little bottles in Penneys / Primark. Pennies have like all of these types of bottles for traveling and stuff, but they're absolutely perfect to store your olive oil in. And something else that's great about these bottles is it just has like a tiny little hole, like a tiny little squirty hole, so you can you know, get the perfect amount you need, because as I was saying in my shaving down there video, you really don't need a lot of olive oil when you're shaving. Like a little bit goes a long way, so at least with a small squirty bottle you can just, you know, get a little bit at a time, instead of if you're using like the big bottle of olive oil, you're more than likely gonna, you know, pour way too much out, and it's going to be a bit messy and a little bit slippery, whereas these bad boys are amazing. So yeah, I'd highly recommend to get yourself one of these little bad boys. So the next question was, how often can I shave? And a lot of you guys were very confused about this. Okay, so first of all, I have a girlfriend, one of my friends who's a girl, and she'd actually shaves every time she has a shower, so pretty much most days, but she would use the method that I talked about in my video, and she also does use olive oil. I personally wouldn't shave every day, you know, maybe TMI, because I find if I shave every day, I just don't get as clean a shave as I like to get, if that makes sense. Because obviously if you're like shaving over hairs that are like so teeny tiny that you can't even see, you know, you're not going to get as close a shave. So I personally would shave like every few days, so like maybe every 3 or 4 days type way, but you can shave every day, but it's completely like personal preference, I suppose, and also like how fast your hairs grow back. I do know, like, since I've started shaving with olive oil, my hairs don't grow back as quickly as they were growing back a few years ago when I used to just shave with, you know, shower cream or whatever. So it really is personal preference, but you can shave every time you shower if you like to, or else you can just let them grow a little bit so you'll get a closer shave. So yeah, I hope that helps. So the next question is, can you use baby oil? A lot of you guys were wondering, can you use baby oil instead of olive oil? And I wouldn't recommend using baby oil just because it's not like a proper thick oil. Like baby oil is like a very, I don't know how to describe it, but it's not thick, it's a very thin oil. And I also haven't heard great things about baby oil. Like I do know somebody who did shave with baby oil before, and let's just say like it didn't go very well. But yeah, I feel like you need a thick oil like olive oil or coconut oil. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend baby oil because I feel like you would be left with irritation and cuts and bumps. So yes. So a lot of you guys are going on about the slippy shower or bath when you did shave with the olive oil. I'd say what's happening there is you're just pouring way too much out on your hands and you're losing a lot of it before you're actually spreading it over your area or wherever you're shaving. That's why these bottles are amazing, because you physically cannot pour out any more than you need because it's such a tiny little hole. So yeah, my shower really wouldn't get that slippy at all. So I'd say it's just the amount you're pouring out. Also, another little tip is if you're really struggling with the slippy shower or bath, is to just get like a non-slip mat for your shower just to ensure you won't slip. So if you're actually really struggling with the slippiness of the shower or whatever, something you can actually do before you get in is just get a little cloth, run this under the hot water, so make sure it's hot, and just hold it over your area, over your vagina, over your vulva, for a few minutes just to make sure that the pores are opening, you know, make sure your pores are opened. So yeah, and then you can go ahead and put the olive oil on and then get in the shower and actually shave first. So that's another way you can do it just to avoid the slippiness. But if you are doing it with the cloth, just make sure you do hold it up for a few minutes. You can maybe cleanse your face or whatever you want to do, because your pores really do need to be opened before you shave, because if your pores aren't opened, you are going to irritate yourself and you are going to get them nasty of them little bumps and them cuts and them you know, them little nasties. Yes, so that's another way you can do it. So another question is, how do you shave the sides of your vulva? And they were saying how it can be quite tricky to get into them areas. As I was saying in my shaving down there video, when shaving your vulva, your vagina, you kind of need to make sure the skin is tight, because that's going to ensure you have a lot less irritation and bumps and cuts. So with the sides, like, just kind of pull your skin up, if you know what I mean. So basically make the area as flat as you possibly can. So just smooth it out. It's really hard to explain without actually showing you guys, and I'm obviously not going to show you guys. But yeah, if you just flatten the area, so just hold the top of it tightly, if that makes any sense, because once the area is as flat as it possibly can be, it will just ensure you can get into all them little crevices a lot easier. So yeah, I hope that helps. So just kind of make sure your skin is tight pretty much. So the next question is, does the razor actually matter? Yes, the razor really does matter, because if you're using a cheap razor, you're more than likely going to get cheap results. I know that from when I used to use cheap razors years ago. I never got the results I get now, like ever anything near the results I get now. I would really recommend a 5-blade razor. You probably can use a woman's 5-blade razor instead of a man's one, but I used a woman's 5-blade razor, you know, a few months ago, and I didn't find it half as good as the men's one. So it's completely up to you, but I would recommend the man's razor. So the next question is, does it itch when it's growing back? So me personally, I've never had any itching with it growing back since I started using olive oil. Neither has any of my girlfriends. I feel like the itching when it's growing back is because of irritation. So if your skin is already irritated and you've already got razor bumps, cuts and lumps, and then the hair is trying to grow back, I feel like that's when it does become itchy. But if you think about it, if your skin is perfectly fine and the hair is growing back, how would there be itching? Because it's the same with your legs. Like if you shave your legs and you don't cut yourself or anything, the hairs are never itchy growing back. So it's the exact same with your vulva, your vagina. So yes, if you do it the right way, there is not going to be any itching. So the next question is, does olive oil mess up your shower drains? No, it does not. Obviously, as long as you're not using like crazy amounts of olive oil. As I said, a little bit really does go a long way. But if you think about it, olive oil does go down your kitchen drains. So it's the exact same, you know, drain they're going into, like they're connected to the same, you know, one place. But no, it doesn't mess up your drains. I've been using it for years and we've never had a problem with our drains in our house. So yes. So the next question is, do you put olive oil on wet or dry skin before shaving? Wet skin, and make sure your pores are open. So make sure there has been some source of heat, hot water, hot cloth over your vulva, your vagina for a period of time before you go in shaving. But yes, never ever shave on dry skin. You're going to be left in a bad way for a long time. Dry shaving is the worst thing you can possibly do. It's so bad for your skin and you're just going to be left with so many bumps and cuts and lumps. So yes, wet skin. So when shaving, when the olive oil falls into the vagina while shaving / rinsing, can it upset your pH balance and give you an infection? Well, me personally, I've been shaving for years now with olive oil, like I'd say 2 or 3 years, and I've not once had an infection at all. So I amn't a doctor, but going off my research and what I do know, olive oil, because it's like a natural product and it's all natural, it can't upset your pH balance. Normally what upsets your pH balance is like the chemicals and things that are added into like shower gels and stuff like that. But because olive oil is a complete natural product, it doesn't upset your pH balance, from my experience, from my girlfriend's experience, and going on my research. I'm not a doctor, but that's just, you know, my understanding of it. So the next one is, you said to shave down first, then side to side. Does side to side mean go against the grain or to shave inward only? Yes, it means to shave inward only. Don't go against the grain. So just say like, this is my vulva, my vagina, and this is like the top of it that I'm shaving. You're going to want to be going in when you're shaving side to side. You're not going to be like shaving outward. That won't end well. So yeah, just go inward when you're shaving side to side. So like this instead of like out the way. I hope you understand what I'm saying. It's so hard to explain. So the next one is, what about between butt cheeks? So yes, the worst thing is, especially if you don't, you know, want to have any hair going on, you don't want to have like a smooth shaved vulva / vagina and then have like a really hairy bum. Like, you just don't want that, do you? Especially if you're trying to get rid of the hair. So the best way that I've found, well, there's a few ways you can do it. First of all, you can either just do it like put one leg up on the side of the bath, or like, you know, put one leg up pretty much and then get in that way. Another way is to actually squat down, because, you know, you'll be able to get into like the little crevices much more easy. Or else you can actually use a mirror. A mirror is a great tool to use, especially as well. I've seen a few people commenting under my video saying that their boobs are too big, that they can't actually reach down there and stuff. So yeah, if you've got really big boobs, or you're pregnant, or even if you're just very bloated and like you're struggling to kind of get down there, so we're just going to ignore the fingerprints, but basically you can just use like a normal mirror, like a normal full-sized mirror is one option. Or else you can use something like this bad boy, and you're probably like, Jessica, what the hell is it? But I think I got this in like Homebase or one of them like homey shops, or like Eurogiant. You will get one of these in like a Euro Poundland place. But it's basically a mirror and you can move it, and then it's got like a stick and you can make it longer. And it's just amazing, especially if you're struggling to see down there, or your boobs are in the way, or your pregnant belly, or whatever it may be. Something like this is amazing, and you can just move it then, and you can see what you're doing. So yes, that's like what I'd mostly recommend for getting in between your bum. So either squatting, leg up, or a trusty little mirror. So they were most of the reoccurring questions that kept coming up again and again. So I hope that helped you guys. So now I'm going to go through some of the other few little tips I have for you guys. And first of all, I just want to say, you know, it's actually a myth that they say when you shave, the hairs grow back thicker and longer. That's actually a complete myth. That is not true whatsoever. So don't be concerned if you're going to shave that the hairs will grow back thicker and longer. It's a myth. Like, you know, a lot of them old wise tales, they're not true. So the first little tip I have is, after you've shaved your vulva, your vagina, either before you get out of the shower, just change your shower to the cold water and run it over the area for a few seconds, a minute or something, just to make sure your pores close up. Or else you can do it when you get out of the shower, and you can just get a cloth again and run it under the cold water and hold it up against your vulva, your vagina, for a minute or so, just to make sure your pores are closed, you know, before you get dressed or whatever. And then another little tip is, you can also use olive oil, a tiny bit of olive oil, to moisturize the area after you shaved, because, you know, moisturizing after you shaved is very important. And olive oil is also an amazing moisturizer. And again, don't be worried that's going to make you smell or anything, because it doesn't. I've used it for years and it does not make you smell. So another tip I obviously talked about is using the mirror. It really is great for getting into them little crevices that you can't see yourself. Another little tip is to never ever ever share your razors with anybody else. You don't want to be doing this. Make sure you have your own razor and you only use that razor. Another little tip is to make sure you are changing the head of your razor every number of weeks. You do not need to change it every time you shave whatsoever. I think that was another question. You don't need to change it every time, but you do need to keep, you know, it clean. Like, don't be using the same razor for like 6 months, because if you think about it, it's all your like dead skin cells and all that's gathering up in that razor. So just make sure you do change it quite regularly. So another tip, I actually saw a good few of you guys were talking about how your razor kept getting really clogged up when you were shaving with the olive oil. And what I have found to work best for me is I just quickly rinse it under the shower head or whatever after every stroke or two. I personally do it after every stroke, but you can do it after like every 2 strokes, and just rinse it out under the shower head, and this will just ensure it's not getting really clogged up. And if you're rinsing it out after every stroke or 2, it's going to rinse out of your razor like super quickly. Like, the oil rinses out of my razor like straight away, because I do rinse it after every stroke or 2. So I hope that helps. And another little trick to get any oil that is stuck in your razor after you've used it is to just use an old toothbrush, and that'll just get into the cracks and crevices and get out any oil that's kind of jammed in your razor. Another little tip is, a lot of you guys were talking about how the shower is so slippy. If somebody else goes in there after you, you know, they're going to be like, what were you doing in the shower? How do I rinse it out? So the best thing to just do is just get yourself a little sponge. Like, that's all you've got to do. So just first go over it with like the soft side, and then just run over the shower or the bath with the harder side, and this will just remove any oil. And you can just store this like in a little drawer in your bathroom or whatever you want. And yeah, it's super quick, and nobody will ever know you were using oil to shave your hoo-ha in your shower. So friends, that is all my little tips and tricks, and me answering any questions you guys had in regards to my shaving down there video. I really hope you guys found this helpful, and maybe it answered some of your questions in regards to my video. So friends, do also let me know down in the comments below if you do have any more questions, because I'd love to help you guys out if I do know the answers to them. So friends, thank you so very much for watching. I love you all so very much, and I cannot wait to see you all in my next video. Mwah. Bye bye friends.